I'm Josh with Waupaca Community Media. Joined this week, Ron Sari from the Waupaca School District and Justin Behrens from the City of Waupaca. Hello.
Hey, John.
And we're going to start with Justin. And one of the things on people's mind, I've heard it could be as early as March 29th that we start tearing up Main Street. And with that, people want some details, what's going on. They have questions, want to find out more, and there's going to be an opportunity before we're even close to the 29th. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so we've been telling people the start date could be late March, early April. The date has not been officially set. We don't know that date, but when we will know that is next Thursday, March 11th. That's when we have our pre-construction meeting with the DOT and the contractors about Main Street, the whole project, everything about it. Now that meeting is early afternoon. Shortly after that meeting, we are going to do a public information meeting, so PIM number 5. So this is the 5th time we've been going out there to the public, updating them on, the most recent information. That's going to be live on Facebook. So go to City Waupaca Facebook page, be a live video stream that anybody can attend, and basically put your questions in the comment box, and we'll review those and answer those live. So, and I encourage everybody to show up who's interested in it, wants to know anything about the project, and definitely we'll have a lot more information, more specific details on the start and what's going to happen.
And we'll have that meeting available for people to watch at their leisure after the fact too. So if you can't make it when it's happening live, you'll be able to go to the city website and give that a view.
Yeah.
Heading over to the schools and talking COVID, which is that common theme week to week. You've got some good news. It's looking like the week of March 15th, your staff who want to get vaccinated will be able to. So tell us about that.
Yeah, thanks, Josh. We found out very recently that educators are going to have a primary rollout of the Johnson & Johnson vaccine the week of March 15th. So we're hoping that our staff is one of the first in the county that gets that vaccine. I know that the county is working closely with all of the districts, and there's a formula out there based on free and reduced lunch. The higher the free and reduced lunch counts in a school district, the quicker you get the vaccine. But the good news is, Josh, that we're going to have our people vaccinated, and it'll for sure take place, we believe, this month. It could be as soon as the week of March 15th.
And the good news, when you say the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, for those people following the different ones, that's the one shot and you're done. So there's no needing to come back to get the second one. So that's kind of exciting news that that's the one that your staff's going to have the opportunity to get their hands on.
Yeah, exactly right. You're right.
Something you've been hearing, we keep saying the COVID trends continue in a positive direction. Hopefully between people getting vaccines, maybe the weather warming up, and maybe people being more outdoors instead of inside, which is an opportunity for it to maybe spread less. Hopefully we continue in that direction. And with that, people are wondering, when are you going to be back to 5 days a week, or do you see going back to 5 day a week in-person learning this school year?
Well, I would love us to be able to go to 5 days a week this year. We talked about this as an admin team. There's some barriers. One is we made a promise to our parents and students, those that made a choice for either live remote learning or on-demand remote learning, that we would support them this year. And that means that then we have teachers that are teaching all 3 modalities. They're teaching in-person students along with live remote students and then on-demand remote students. And it just would be extremely difficult to take our Wednesday, that's a remote learning day, and make it be in person, because our teachers that are teaching all of these modalities need the time to work with their students that are struggling. Sometimes it's one-on-one, sometimes it's small group, sometimes those students come in as well, the remote learners. There's labs that take place depending on the class. So yeah, it isn't going to happen this year, but we are planning for that next year, Josh.
That's good news to hear. Some other good news, I know we touched on some of this, and some of this is new info. Prom and graduation in person but outdoors. And then tell us what the plan is for summer school.
Summer school, we are planning 5 days a week in person. That's the plan. And as long as things continue in this trajectory, I don't see that changing.
Very cool. And we'll jump back to Justin. Some people in our community might see some trees getting cut down.
Yes. Well, the emerald ash borer is here, and if you haven't heard of it, it's an invasive insect, and it's a thing that's tracked north. So it started like in the Chicago area and worked its way up north, and it's finally in Waupaca. It leaves behind it 99.99% all ash trees die from it. So it's part of like a DNR recommendation program. We got to aggressively cull out the ash trees within our urban forest to stop this bug from continuing on. So we have quite a few within the street right away that we're taking care of, some in the parks that some we're treating, some we're cutting down. So yeah, we're going to be out there cutting up a lot of trees. And then over time, we will replant trees. Not with ash right away. We got to wait for basically this bug to work its way through. But we will with our regular plantings. So we probably won't get them all because of how many we're cutting down, but we will eventually replace them within the next few years. So we have done some other outreach, like on the website. We've done some mailings to adjacent property owners, given notification, and the trees that we're cutting down are within public right of way, so they're technically our trees, but we're trying to do the right thing, let people know, and we'll replace them when we can.
And
Justin, I'm curious, excuse me, what happens to those trees then once you cut them down and remove them?
Well, the ones that we take, we put them in a pile and we just burn them, because they could be infected. We don't want that bug to escape.
Okay.
We don't want it to continue to populate and spread out. So that's what we do, and that's again based on like a DNR. You're not supposed to transport and move them. So if somebody who owns land wants to get rid of ash, should probably do the same. Use it as a campfire. If you have somebody that cuts it down for you, figure out what they're going to do with it and see if they'll take care of it the right way too.
Yeah, I was just curious because I'm always looking for firewood for my sound.
Yeah, we don't give away firewood, so.
So Justin, for a private property owner that maybe has some ash trees on their property, does the city have a recommendation for what they should do, or?
Well, yes. So the first thing they can do is they can do their own research, look at the DNR website. They can contact foresters and get their opinion, just to make a good decision on it. Cutting it down and removing it is one option. The other is treating it. There are methods out there on treating it which are not very expensive, but you'll have to treat that for several years, probably 10 or more years, and that could cost you, $100 a year to do it, depending on the size of the tree and how many you have. But it might be worth it for that property owner.
Okay. Well, Ron, Justin, appreciate the updates this week, and we'll look forward to talking again soon to keep the community in the know.
My pleasure.
Thanks, Josh.